We're rolling. Coach, if you want to just open with a quick comment.
Yeah, obviously we're full speed ahead here, getting ourselves prepared for Kent State, and obviously reflecting back still on Saturday. Nothing's changed. You know, obviously we cannot turn the ball over. We lost a turnover battle 3-1. We had some mistakes, obviously, that showed up when you watch the tape in coverage where we gave up some uncontested throws that were too easy, and we got to get that fixed. And so obviously we're going to go into Kent State. They're coming off of a bye week. And after losing their first conference game to Eastern Michigan, they've been through some injury challenges, but you know, on our end of it, we're focused on making sure we fix some of the challenges we have, and you know, certainly we got to have a great week of preparation here, and it all starts with that.
When you are going up against a team like Kent State, who just has not performed well this year, yes, they have injuries. What is your process like when you don't want to view them as lesser than, you still want to prepare for them at the same level? Like, how do you go through that process?
Man, in this conference, I think year after year, week after week, anybody can beat anybody. Obviously, we saw that in college football this past weekend. So it's really a nameless, faceless opponent. I know that sounds silly, but it really is, because you got to make sure that you're putting your football team in a position to do what they do best. Obviously, we watch the games that Kent State's played this year, but it's really about us executing. Obviously, you know, you watch and see, okay, is it something totally different than what we're going to, you know, is there something totally different we're seeing scheme-wise against Kent State that we haven't seen already before in our first 5 opponents? So you start with that, but really at the end of the day, it's putting a game plan together that's got a good balance to it. Things that we do well, and then obviously what can we do, whether it's offensively or defensively, to try to make sure that, you know, if there's something shown on tape that's a positive or a negative, we got to make sure that, you know, is that part of our plan to go into Kent State? And but it all comes down to executing. All comes down to us playing our best brand of football.
I just kind of want to double down on something you said Saturday, just the comment you made about looking at personnel. When you say that, does that mean like potentially moving someone up to start who hasn't been, or can you kind of just clarify that?
Or perhaps even adjusting guys that are playing one position. We might be thin somewhere else. Do you move them over? Can they handle that move? And so we talked about all that stuff, you know, yesterday a little bit, but really this morning, as meeting with the defensive staff, meeting with the offensive staff, just seeing where we're at personnel-wise, because just even if there wasn't a change or adjustment to somebody that's starting, if we don't have very much depth behind them, what move can we make or what adjustment can we make? Because as we all know, you're one play away, so you got to be ready to adjust in the event something like that happens. So always, you know, obviously, always look at personnel. I bug Coach Winger every day about weights on guys. Hey, what's his weight? You know what? You know, and certain young guys that really weren't ready when they first got here because they were too light, if you will. But hearing some guys putting on 12, 14, 15 pounds. They might have not been physically ready to go when they first got here, but they're getting closer to being ready now because of the work in the weight room, because of being able to put some weight on and do it the right way. So always have to look at that. And again, some of it comes down to two guys that might be playing one position, but we're thin somewhere else. Can this guy handle that type of move? So really just, you know, every week kind of look at that, but certainly, you know, coming out of the game the other day with some of the challenges that happened, with some of the injuries that happened, we have to be ready to adjust and address them, and that's what I'm after, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah, we've asked a lot about the defense this year, and I just want to, you talked about just having conversations daily with that defensive staff.
Mm-hmm.
After the game on Saturday in particular, what was your conversation like with the defensive staff?
Needed to sleep on it. Needed to go home, watch it on my own first on my iPad before coming back. But really, at the end of the day, we had mistakes in coverage. Some mistakes in coverage. Obviously, Wednesday last week, Ty Baldwin gets hurt with an ankle. Wasn't able to go. He played just a couple of plays in the game on Saturday, so then you're forcing some guys into action. You know, Blair Schoenhurst hasn't played a ton of snaps. So now there's a trickle-down effect. A guy that's played a lot of snaps has an ankle injury on Wednesday. Can't go. We come out Friday, just wasn't ready to go. Game time decision Saturday, just couldn't move the way he needed to move. And so, you know, obviously at that point in time, your game plan's kind of what your game plan is, but we have to be able to adjust. And I think what I'm after more than anything else is making sure what we're asking our guys to do that we know they can handle. And certain guys, as we all know, certain guys are good at certain things. The guy that might be right behind them he might not be quite as good as the guy. So we have to be able to adjust on that. So I needed to sleep on it that night, but coming back and watching the tape and having conversation really came down to some mistakes that were made in coverage, not just by one guy either. There was mistakes made in coverage. We have to eliminate that so that we're not seeing uncontested catches, easy catches on the field that way. And so we got to get that fixed.
You talk a lot about just being able to adjust, and I don't want to assume anything, so I just want to ask, is this team right now in a position to where you're comfortable with their ability to adjust?
You talking about in game, or are you talking about from it?
In-game.
Yeah, obviously there's things that happen in game. The great thing is now is really you can coach a guy up on the sideline because you can take that iPad and you can show him exactly what you're seeing, or you can express to him exactly what took place and why you want to make a change or why you want to make an adjustment. So I think that has made it better in terms of in-game adjustments on the sideline, because you can take the iPad and you can actually watch the tape with the player, show them exactly what you're referring to. So not only are you communicating with them, you're able to show them visual evidence as well. And I think that's helped. And I do think, our guys can handle that.
And then I guess just last thing for me is the offense did have some turnovers the other day, and they've had some all season, but overall, would you say that you're confident in the direction this offense is heading?
No question, extremely confident. And nobody's beating himself up more than Caden Simmons is, because when you play the quarterback position and you have turnovers, that's the first thing that gets talked about. He knows how much confidence everybody in our program has. He knows how much confidence I have in him. And obviously, he had 2 interceptions the other day, and that just simply can't happen, But the most important thing is learning from those, and that's the great thing about him is he owns it. He knows it, and the main thing is don't repeat those mistakes, because when you repeat them, then obviously you go, okay, well, we're not able. He's not learning from some of the mistakes that are made, but I have all the confidence in the world. Great to get Ty Robinson back. Great to see him find the end zone. Tanner's doing a great job. Obviously this year we've had different receivers between Keon and Cam Pickett and Malcolm that have all done a great job. I think we're closer and closer to getting Justin Bowick back as well, which will be great. But I think it's one of those that, I think we've got a lot of good weapons, and we just got to keep building on what we're doing. And we can't have a good game, then take a step back. But the consistency piece has got to start to show up week in, week out now.
And I know we've talked about confidence a lot this season. How do you kind of personally instill that confidence into your players? Just
continuing to make sure they know, number one, that we believe in them, trying to show them evidence of executing their job, executing plays at a high level. Part of that takes place obviously in the meeting room. And two, having conversation with them, because everybody naturally has a tendency to be their own worst critic, which is a good thing. But at the same time, too, you got to allow yourself, you're human and you're going to make mistakes. The main thing is making sure you learn from your mistakes. Use that information, use that knowledge in order to get better, because when you get knocked down and then you respond to that, that's a sign of growth to me. And that's where making sure I do a better job and making sure I do the best job I can of making sure our guys in this meeting room and in front of all the guys in here, all 117, that we still believe in them and show us executing things mistakes that have happened in games, showing us executing that throughout different moments at a high level.
And I know you talked about looking at Kent State's film. What have you kind of pinpointed that they have talent-wise?
Yeah, and obviously for them, they've been through their end. They've lost 2 quarterbacks in the same game against Penn State. Now, Tommy Ulatowski came back, had a career game against Eastern Michigan for 350 yards or right around there. Krishan McCray had a huge day that game, very explosive player. So they got some playmakers, and it's one of those things that, no different than any other team. Injuries are part of it. If anything, they've done a good job of overcoming some of the injuries that they have. But obviously for them, they're starving and they're hungry to get their first win. And so for us, we're going into their place. Obviously, they've had 2 weeks now. They will have 2 weeks by the time game day gets here to be able to get rested up, for lack of a better word, and spend 2 full weeks of preparation on us. So they'll be ready to go. We know we're going to get their best shot, obviously, on our end of it. We got to respond, and when we have the chance to finish out and close out a game and you got the lead in the fourth quarter, we got to be able to get that done.
You just talked about Justin. Is he expected to come back this week or maybe?
We're going to get him on the practice field and just kind of take it day by day. You know, he did a little bit of conditioning on the practice field last week, kind of on the side, so he would line up at his respective position, and he would basically run that play on air or run, you know, if it was a blocking assignment, he'd do it on the side just to work on his in-game conditioning again. So we're going to have him back on the field this week, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. You know, I don't know if there's a chance this Saturday, but hopefully if things go well this week, maybe so.
Part of Kent State's kind of offensive troubles this year has been turning the ball over. They've turned it over kind of more than really anybody has. Is that viewed as an opportunity for the defense to kind of go and get some confidence back?
Yeah, no question. Obviously, any game that you can get some turnovers and get some takeaways, and obviously you're getting extra possessions. And in their case, some of the scores of their games obviously got the way they got because they gave their opponents some extra possessions, and some of them were snaps over the head, obviously fumbles. They had a game, you know, against Eastern Michigan, a little rainy that day. So they've had some challenges, whether it be conditions, whether it be some of their own self-inflicted wounds. But absolutely, when you have an opportunity to get a takeaway, man, we got to capitalize on and make sure that, you know, if there's a ball to be had, we got to make sure that we get it into our hands.
Any more for Coach? All right, excellent.
Thanks, guys.
Coach,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you very much. Elijah will follow you.
I think first and foremost, like you look at Kent State, and obviously they haven't had a great season, but I feel like they have some factors kind of going in their favor. They're coming off a bye week. They're probably hungrier than ever to get a win because they are winless, and they're playing at home. Do you view that as more of a challenge than they might look like on paper?
I mean, at the end of the day, the MAC's a competitive conference, and all the teams are like really close and neck, considering everything that happens in the transfer portal and the ebbs and flows in the season and all that. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're hungry to come get a win, but at the end of the day, we do what we need to do. We'll come out with a win.
Yeah. What does it feel like for you guys? Because I mean, you guys are in the same position. You guys are hungry for a win.
Mm-hmm.
What does that feel like as a player when you have that extra motivation?
It's just like, it's something else to play for. Like, we have all these X factors and extra motivation for us, like individually as players, but as a team, like being in the situation that we are in, like everybody's hungry, everybody wants to get better, and everybody wants to win these games. So it's just gonna come down to us doing what we're supposed to do to finish these games off.
Yeah, I know last time we talked after James Madison, you were frustrated with the team and just frustrated with yourself as well. Do you feel any better after last week?
I mean, not really, because I feel like close losses hurt more than blowouts, because it's like you was there, we had it, and then we lost it, and then we end up losing the game. But at the end of the day, you got to look at things on the bright side, because I sit and tend to think about the future a lot, and at the end of the day, I need to be where my feet are and just like realize like I only have 7 more games guaranteed with these guys and this that sit in this room right here, and who else would I rather play with? Nobody else in the country. So I'm just going to give my all out to these guys and pour my heart out to them.
For sure. And I guess, too, like, you look at last week, and it was a close game, but we talked to Jordan a little bit about it, but I'm curious from your perspective, what, I guess, went wrong as to how you guys weren't able to kind of close it out?
I mean, we just made mistakes in crucial times. Missed tackles in the backfield, misalignments, and then, like, unfortunate things were up through the interception, and just like not being able to get a stop right there, like that hurt us bad. And that was ebbs and flows of the game, man. We just didn't put the game away in times where we needed to.
Yeah. And then just moving forward, we've talked a lot about confidence this year with players and coaches. Do you feel like this team needs a win to get that confidence back?
Yeah, I feel like that'll help shake everything up, because at the end of the day, people are confident in their own way, and you bring that out of people in different ways. But when you getting wins and you get rewarded for the work that you're putting in, like that brings its own level of confidence with it. So I think that'll help us like very much. So yeah.
On that note of confidence, you as the signal caller, leader of the defense, with the most experienced returning player, how do you kind of go about making sure the rest of the team, especially the defense, is keeping their confidence up during the game?
Just trying to encourage them no matter what's going on during the game, because like bad things are going to happen. Plays are going to be made, because other teams have good ball players as well, like scholarship players, and they even walk-ons to get out there and make plays when they get the opportunity to. So just like being that happy voice in their ear when bad things are going on is something I try to do, and kind of struggling with everything that's going on, but just keep going, and shaking back with it. I feel like just being that voice in their ear helps a little bit.
Do you view this week against an offense that has really struggled, is really banged up, do you view that as an opportunity to go in there and kind of boost some confidence, make some plays?
Most definitely, considering everything that's going on with the defense right now. Don't look too much in the rankings, but I'm pretty sure we're very low in like total defense and all that. So getting in there and dominating the offense that has been struggling and it is beat up, like you said, will be big for us, and that'll help our confidence probably more than the win, to be honest, on the defensive side of the ball.
Coach, talk to us a little bit about, especially in the pass game, kind of some missed coverage assignments, blown coverages. How much responsibility do you personally take for that?
All of it, because at the end of the day, as being like the team captain and the signal caller and all that, if we haven't busted, it's because of my lack of communication. And that's really all it is to it.
You talked about miscommunication before this season. Do you still feel like that's a problem, or do you feel like that's gotten better?
I feel like this week it was better, and we just weren't in good enough spots. And some of the plays that they they had that long touchdown across the middle of the field. Like, I got cut and missed a sack, and then he got another first down off of play action. I missed another sack. So, like, things like that, we need to help the defensive backs out from pass rushing and pressures and disguising things better, and just like not having them, hanging them out to dry, because when you guard people for 7 seconds, it's hard to do, and we need to help them out more with that.
You talked about kind of like staying in the positives rather than dwelling on the negatives. What are some of the positives that you've seen from this defense?
I mean, we show signs of like we can do great things when we all are locked in and bought in. We fly to the ball, and it's like effort wasn't a problem. We just need to clean up some of the attention to detail mistakes.
You feel like it's kind of a consistency thing that you guys need to figure out?
Yeah, and once we get that clicking, and it's like, it's sad to say it, and we're almost in the middle of the season, once we get the consistency clicking, we'll be a dangerous defense, but it's something we have to work on.
Is it kind of more frustrating given the fact that you guys have had 5 games and you're still kind of trying to figure out the consistency?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you got to play the cards that you were dealt, so we're going to get it figured out, even if it's the last week of the season. If we figure it out then, hey, we figured it out, and we're going to get it done. So, yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Keionte, thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Keionte.
Ty Robinson, come on up.
How you guys doing?
Too bad. How was that? I mean, what was the feeling that you had, not only like just when the ball was in the air coming to you in the end zone, and then when you catch it and realize that your first catch back is a touchdown?
Yeah, so really just the whole week throughout practice, just scouting their defense and watching film and game planning. As soon as he called the play, I already knew the ball was coming to me. So, I just knew I had to go up and, make a play. I've been working on it all throughout practice. I've been doing it all throughout summer and, spring and camp. So, it was just another football play, but just having a touchdown in Schumann Stadium, my first one, it was a different feeling. So it felt really good, and I'm excited to, have some more in there.
Did it mean even more given the fact that everything you went through last year, and you get back on the field this year, and on the first drive, you get hurt and you miss some more time? Did it make it mean even more?
Yeah, it meant a lot more, especially last year, not being able to play. I played those first 2 games, then was done the whole year. And then, yeah, like you said, the first play, the first game, I got injured, and I've been working really hard in rehab, working really hard at practice to get back into everything, and that first drive scoring just meant a lot to me. Also, it was family week and got to have my family here for it, so it meant a lot for me.
Where's your family traveling from?
He traveled out from Colorado.
That's what I thought. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I hate to keep beating a dead horse because we talked about this in the offseason, just like how you felt last year going through your injury process. What was it like this year when, on that first drive, you know that you're hurt, and you know that you're not going to be able to get back the next week?
I think being injured last year, which is unfortunate, I think it did help me this time around. Obviously, I knew I had to, get into rehab, just attack lifting and with the strength coaches and with all the trainers. And I just knew that, my team still needed me, whether I was playing or I wasn't. So just being that, that voice in the room, being at practice, still being engaged in what's going on around here was really big, and I do think that it helped me come back even quicker.
And then I guess we talked a lot about the defense today, both with Mike and obviously with Key. From your perspective, the offense has looked really good this year, even in the games that you haven't played in. And now that you're back, what do you feel like you add to this already thriving offense?
Yeah, I just think that our offense is really deep, and I think that really anybody on our team can play and go out there and make plays. So, whether I'm, playing wide receiver or I could play lineman or center or whatever, I'm just going out there to, help my team in any way possible. And I'm just really excited to get back out there with my guys.
Yeah. You're almost like a tight end. I mean, with your size, do you kind of use that? I mean, how do you use that to your advantage?
Yeah, obviously, just using my size to create separation on routes, blocking. So I've been gifted with my size, and I do try to use it to my advantage, make things harder for the defense and the DBs to cover.
Yeah, and then we have talked a lot with the defense about they need confidence, and they've admitted that, and they feel like a win would go a long way in that. How much confidence do you feel like the offense needs, and how far would a win go for this offense?
I think that a win would really benefit the whole team. Really, wins feel good. It makes us feel like all the work that we put in during the offseason and everything is for a good reason. I think it would boost our confidence a lot. And obviously these losses, especially these two MAC losses, have been really close. They've both been 3-point losses. So we all know we're right there. We know we have the people in this room, the coaches, to win these games. So I think really just attacking practice, staying confident this week, and coming out 1-0 this week will be really good for the whole team.
What have you liked that you've seen from guys like Keionte and Malcolm Gilly stepping up in Justin's absence?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, I'm proud of the whole wide receiver room. Honestly, we've had a few people go down, just like me, Trey Firestone as well, Justin Bowick. And then seeing guys like Cam Pickett, who have fought back from double hip surgery, hasn't played football in 2 years, and then goes out there and is making big plays for us. It's just really inspiring for the whole group, and I think that we've gelled as a family, and we're really tight, and we all just want to see each other succeed. So I'm also really proud of Malcolm Gilly too. He's stepped up as more of a leader in our room, has brought a voice to our room. So. Just seeing those guys succeed really makes me want to play harder for them too.
What was it like seeing Malcolm run that kickback on Saturday?
Oh man, we've been talking about that forever. Especially this week, we had a really good plan for them on kickoff return. And we knew we were going to get one this week. It was just a matter of time. So once it happened, the whole team was flying down the sideline. It was a big boost in momentum because at that point we were down 14-0. I think that gave our team a confidence boost and momentum to put some scores back on the board for us.
I've noticed every week, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've noticed every week Keon Magwood is leading the charge out of the locker room when you guys run out on the field. What does he bring to the wide receiver room and just the entire team in terms of leadership?
Yeah, man. I'm really proud of Keon too. Obviously, he's been here longer than I have, obviously, and I've heard about all the stuff that he's had to fight through, whether that's things regarding his personal life, family, being here, being injured. He's been here for a while, and he's seen how things go. Him also stepping up into a more leadership role is big for the team. Just hearing that voice from him, and also obviously every time he steps on the field, he's giving it his 100%. So it just makes people want to listen to him and play hard for him even more.
This might be more of a question for Mike, but is it by design that Keon is the guy leading the charge out of the locker room?
Honestly, I really think that it could be anybody. It's really not by design. Keon's just that type of guy who wants to be a leader, who wants to do things the right way, who wants to play hard for his teammates. So, Keon coming out of the locker room first it's not surprising to me or surprising to anyone, but, it's not really by design or anything.
All right. Tyrone. Robinson, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.